Right then, let me tell you something that's absolutely doing my head in lately. Every single morning, millions of people across this country wake up, and before their eyes have even properly adjusted to the light, they're already scrolling through their phones like their life depends on it. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, the whole lot. And here's the mad thing, yeah? They haven't even had a proper cuppa yet. If that sounds familiar, if you're sat there right now thinking, bloody hell, that's literally me, then mate, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Because today, I'm going to walk you through one of the most important books I've ever come across. It's called Dopamine Detox by Thibaut Meurisse. And rather than just boring you with a standard book summary, I'm going to tell you the story of a lad called Oliver, a proper British bloke from Manchester, who went from being completely controlled by his dopamine hits to absolutely transforming his entire life. Welcome back to the channel, you absolute legends. If you're new here, this is where we break down life-changing books through stories that actually make sense. If that sounds like your cup of tea, smash that subscribe button and let's crack on. So picture this, right? It's a grim Tuesday morning in Manchester, February. Absolutely chucking it down outside, proper miserable weather. And there's Oliver Thompson, 29 years old, works as a marketing coordinator for a mid-sized firm in the Northern Quarter. On paper, Oliver's doing all right for himself, isn't he? Decent flat in Ancoats, steady job, mates from uni he still sees down the pub. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Oliver can't remember the last time he felt genuinely good. Not the fake dopamine hit from getting likes on his Instagram post. Not the temporary buzz from binging a new series on Netflix until 3 in the morning. Not the fleeting satisfaction of ordering a Deliveroo when he's got perfectly good food in his fridge. I mean actually good, content, at peace with himself. His morning routine? Absolute shambles, mate. Alarm goes off at 6:30. Does he get up? Does he heck? He reaches for his phone, still half asleep, and starts scrolling through social media. 20 minutes disappear, then 40. Before he knows it, it's 7:15. He's seen approximately 400 pictures of people living better lives than him, and now he's stressed and running late. He stumbles out of bed, skips breakfast because no time in it, grabs a Red Bull from the corner shop, and rushes to the office feeling like death warmed up. Sound familiar to anyone? At work, Oliver can't focus on anything for more than 5 minutes. His phone's constantly buzzing, WhatsApp groups going mental, Instagram notifications, Twitter discourse. His brain's like a browser with 47 tabs open, and at least 12 of them are playing music. By the time he gets home, he's absolutely knackered. But here's the twisted bit. He's too tired to do anything meaningful, but somehow he's got endless energy to scroll TikTok for 3 hours straight. He keeps telling himself he's going to start that side business, going to get back to the gym, going to read more books, going to call his mum more often. But he never does he? Because his brain's been hijacked, and he doesn't even know it yet. Now, everything changes for Oliver on a random Thursday afternoon. He's having lunch with his mate James, proper straight-talking Yorkshire lad, doesn't mince his words, that one. They're sat in this little cafe near Piccadilly Gardens, and Oliver's doing what he always does, half listening to James while simultaneously checking his phone every 30 seconds. And James, bless him, just stops mid-sentence, puts his coffee down, looks Oliver dead in the eyes and says, "Mate, I'm not being funny, but when was the last time you were actually present for anything?" Oliver laughs it off. "What do you mean? I'm right here, aren't I?" "Nah," James says. "Your body's here, but your head's been somewhere else for months. Years, maybe. You're like a zombie, bruv, just going through the motions. It's like watching someone slowly disappear." And that hits different, doesn't it? Because deep down, Oliver knows James is right. He's become this shell of a person, constantly stimulated, never satisfied, always connected, but feeling more isolated than ever. That evening, Oliver's lying in bed, can't sleep, obviously, because he's been staring at screens all day and his circadian rhythm's completely shot. And for whatever reason, the YouTube algorithm, in one of its rare moments of being actually helpful, recommends a video about something called Dopamine Detox. Now, Oliver's skeptical, isn't he? He's seen all these self-help trends come and go, but something about this one resonates. So he goes on Amazon, orders this book by Thibaut Meurisse, and waits. 2 days later, the book arrives. And mate, everything changes. The first thing that properly blows Oliver's mind is understanding what's actually happening inside his brain. See, Thibaut Meurisse explains it beautifully in the book. Dopamine isn't actually the pleasure chemical like everyone thinks. It's the anticipation chemical. It's what drives you to seek rewards, not what makes you enjoy them. And here's where it gets mental. Our brains evolved in a completely different environment, yeah? Thousands of years ago, when your ancestors were running around the British Isles, trying not to get eaten by wolves, dopamine spikes were rare and meaningful. You found food? Dopamine. You escaped danger? Dopamine. You connected with your tribe? Dopamine. These hits motivated survival behaviors. But fast forward to 2024, and what have we done? We've created an environment with unlimited, instant, high dopamine stimulation available 24/7. Oliver's sitting there reading this, and it's like someone's turned the lights on in a dark room. He starts thinking about his own life. That notification ping on his phone, engineered to trigger dopamine. The autoplay feature on YouTube, designed to exploit dopamine. The infinite scroll on social media, built specifically to hijack his dopamine system. Variable rewards, like not knowing whether the next post will be amazing or rubbish. That's the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive, mate. And suddenly, Oliver realizes, he's not weak, he's not lazy, he's not broken. His brain's just responding exactly the way it's supposed to a world that's been deliberately designed to exploit it. The book explains this concept of supernormal stimuli. Basically, modern technology and entertainment have created exaggerated versions of natural rewards that our brains literally cannot resist. It's like, you know those studies where they put a bird in front of a giant fake egg and it ignores its own real eggs to sit on the fake one, because the fake one's bigger and more stimulating? That's us. That's literally what we're doing. We're ignoring real life, real relationships, real achievements, real satisfaction, to chase artificial, superpowered versions of rewards. Oliver puts the book down that night and just stares at the ceiling. For the first time in years, he understands why he feels the way he feels. And understanding the problem, that's step one, innit? Right, so the next morning, Oliver wakes up and he's got this fire in his belly. He's read about the core practice in the book, the dopamine detox itself, or as Meurisse calls it, a stimulation fast. The idea is dead simple in theory. Remove high dopamine activities for a set period to reset your brain's baseline. Allow yourself to get bored. Let your dopamine receptors recover. Simple in theory, absolutely brutal in practice. Oliver decides to start with a full 24-hour detox on the weekend. No phone, no social media, no Netflix, no music with lyrics, no junk food, no alcohol. Just being. Saturday morning arrives. Oliver puts his phone in a drawer in the kitchen, and then he sits on his sofa. And honestly, the first 2 hours are genuinely horrifying. He doesn't know what to do with himself. His hand keeps reaching for his pocket where his phone usually lives. It's like phantom limb syndrome, but for dopamine addicts. He's restless, agitated, his brain's screaming at him. This is boring, go get stimulation. Check your phone, something interesting might be happening. But Oliver pushes through, yeah? He starts doing things he hasn't done in years. Goes for a walk around Heaton Park. Just walking, not listening to anything, not scrolling while he wanders, just walking. At first, it's painful. His brain's not used to this level of minimal stimulation. But then something weird happens around hour 4. He starts noticing things. The way the light comes through the trees, the sound of kids playing football, the smell of someone's Sunday roast wafting out of a window. He sits on a bench and just exists. And for the first time in what feels like forever, his mind goes quiet. The book talks about this exact phenomenon. When you remove artificial stimulation, your brain starts recalibrating. It begins finding pleasure in smaller, more natural things again. Your dopamine baseline, which has been artificially elevated by constant stimulation, starts coming back down. By Sunday evening, Oliver feels something he can't quite describe. It's almost like peace, contentment, just a subtle sense of rightness that he'd completely forgotten existed. He sleeps better that night than he has in months, and when he wakes up Monday morning, he doesn't immediately reach for his phone. Progress, innit? Now, here's where Oliver starts getting strategic about this whole thing. The book introduces this concept of categorizing activities into 3 levels based on their dopamine impact, and this proper changes the game for him. Low stimulation activities, these are things like reading, meditation, journaling, walking in nature, having face-to-face conversations. These are what Oliver starts calling his nourishing activities. They don't feel as immediately exciting, but they leave him feeling genuinely fulfilled afterwards. Medium stimulation activities, these are neutral things. Listening to music, watching educational content, social media used intentionally with time limits. These are okay in moderation, but Oliver learns he needs to be careful they don't slip into excessive use. High stimulation activities, this is the dangerous stuff. Endless scrolling, binge watching, video games for hours, pornography, junk food. These are the activities that hijack his dopamine system and leave him feeling worse than before. Oliver starts keeping this mental framework with him throughout the day. Every time he's about to do something, he asks himself, is this low, medium, or high stimulation? And is this what I actually need right now, or am I just chasing a dopamine hit? It's a game changer, mate. He starts restructuring his entire day around this principle. Mornings become sacred, low stimulation only. He wakes up, does a bit of journaling, goes for a short walk, maybe reads for 20 minutes. No phone for the first hour. Work hours, he implements what he calls focus blocks. 2-hour chunks where his phone's on airplane mode and he does actual deep work. And here's the mad thing. He gets more done in those 2 hours than he used to get done in an entire day of constant distraction. Evenings become intentional. Instead of defaulting to Netflix, he asks himself what he actually wants to do. Sometimes it is watching a show, but it's a deliberate choice, not a mindless habit. And the high stimulation stuff? He doesn't eliminate it entirely. That's not sustainable, is it? But he contains it, limits it to specific times and durations. His Instagram time goes from 3 hours a day to 30 minutes. And honestly, he doesn't miss it.
Right, before we get into how Oliver absolutely transforms his life with the rest of these principles, let me ask you something. Are you actually subscribed to this channel? Because here's the thing, only about 30% of people watching are actually subscribed. And that's fine if this content's not for you, but if you're sitting there getting value from this, thinking about your own relationship with dopamine, just hit that subscribe button, yeah? Takes 2 seconds. And it means you won't miss the next video where we break down another life-changing book. Go on. I'll wait. Lovely. Right, let's crack on with Oliver's transformation. So here's something Oliver realizes about 2 weeks into his dopamine detox journey. It's not enough to just remove the bad stuff. You need something to move towards. A vision, a purpose. Something that makes the sacrifice worthwhile. The book talks about this extensively.
Meurisse explains that one of the reasons we get trapped in dopamine-seeking behavior is because we don't have a compelling alternative. We're not running towards anything meaningful, so we default to instant gratification just to feel something. Oliver sits down one evening with a notebook, an actual paper notebook, not his phone, and starts asking himself some proper, uncomfortable questions. What do I actually want my life to look like? If I could do anything, what would I do? What would I regret not doing when I'm on my deathbed? And for the first time in years, he's honest with himself. He realizes he's always wanted to start his own creative agency. He's been telling himself, someday, for 5 years. But that someday keeps getting pushed back because he's too tired, too distracted, too comfortable in his mediocrity. He realizes he wants deeper relationships. He's got hundreds of Instagram followers, but maybe 3 people he could actually call in a crisis. He realizes he wants to be physically healthy, not for vanity, but because he wants to feel alive again. With this clarity, everything shifts. Now, when he's tempted to scroll mindlessly, he's not just saying no to a bad habit, he's saying yes to his vision. He's protecting his energy and attention for the things that actually matter. The book calls this protecting your clarity. Once you know what you want, guarding against distractions becomes almost automatic, because you understand the cost. Oliver starts working on his agency idea in the evenings, just an hour a night at first, building a portfolio, reaching out to potential clients, learning new skills. And the energy he has for this? Mad. Because he's not depleting himself with constant stimulation anymore. Now, Oliver learns something crucial about 6 weeks in, and it nearly derails the whole thing. Willpower is not enough. See, he'd been relying on pure discipline to resist temptation. And it worked, until it didn't. One particularly stressful day at work, his resolve crumbled, and he found himself 3 hours deep into a YouTube rabbit hole about conspiracy theories. This is when he goes back to the book and really pays attention to the chapter on environment design. Meurisse explains that willpower is a limited resource. Every decision you make depletes it. So if you're constantly having to resist temptation, you're setting yourself up for failure. The solution? Make the right choices automatic by designing your environment. Oliver goes absolutely mental with this concept. He moves his phone charger from his bedside table to the kitchen. Now, when his alarm goes off, he has to physically get up to turn it off. And since he's already up, he might as well start his morning routine properly. He deletes social media apps from his phone. If he wants to check Instagram, he has to log in through the browser, which is annoying enough to stop casual scrolling. He cancels Netflix. Controversial, I know. But he realizes he was using it as a default activity, not because he genuinely wanted to watch things. He sets up his living room so the books he's reading are visible and accessible. The remote control? Hidden in a drawer. He starts meal prepping on Sundays, so he's not tempted to order Deliveroo when he's tired. Each small change reduces the friction for good behaviors and increases it for bad ones. And the results? Absolutely transformative. His reliance on willpower plummets because the decisions are basically made for him by his environment. The path of least resistance is now the path that serves his goals.
By month 3, Oliver's operating at a completely different level. He's incorporated what the book calls the daily maintenance approach to dopamine management. Every single day, he starts with what he calls his sacred hour, 60 minutes of absolutely no high-stimulation activities. He journals, reviews his goals, maybe meditates for 10 minutes, goes for a walk. This sets the tone for his entire day. His dopamine baseline starts from a healthy place, so he's not craving hits by 10 in the morning. He takes regular boredom breaks throughout the day. Just 5 minutes where he does literally nothing. No phone, no music, no distractions. Just lets his mind wander. These breaks feel uncomfortable at first, but they're incredible for creativity. Some of his best ideas for his agency come during these moments of allowed boredom. He's also implemented what he calls weekly resets. Every Sunday, he does a mini dopamine detox. Nothing extreme, just a day focused primarily on low stimulation activities. It's become a rhythm, a lifestyle, not a diet he's white-knuckling through. So let me tell you where Oliver is now, 9 months after reading this book. He's quit his marketing job, terrifying at the time, but his side business had grown enough to support him. He's running a small creative agency with 3 clients, working from home, completely on his own terms. His relationship with his girlfriend, yeah, he met someone, is the healthiest he's ever had. Why? Because he's actually present. When they're together, he's not mentally elsewhere, thinking about notifications. He's there. His body's changed, not dramatically, but he's going to the gym 3 times a week and actually enjoying it. He's got energy he didn't know existed. His anxiety, which used to be constant background noise, has quietened significantly. Turns out, a lot of it was caused by constant comparison and information overload. And his creativity? Through the roof. Boredom, it turns out, is the soil where ideas grow. When you're not constantly consuming, your brain starts producing. But here's what Oliver would tell you if he was sitting here right now. It's not about being perfect. He still scrolls sometimes. He still has days where he falls into old patterns. That's human. The difference is awareness. The difference is having a framework to understand what's happening and tools to course correct. The book didn't just give him a detox, it gave him an operating system for life in the modern world. Right, so what can we actually take from Oliver's journey? Let me break it down into the key principles, yeah? 1. Understand that you're not broken. Your brain's responding normally to an abnormal environment. The system is designed to exploit you. Knowledge is the first defense. 2. Do the detox. Take dedicated periods, whether it's 24 hours, 48 hours, or just a few hours each day, where you remove high stimulation activities. Let your brain reset. 3. Categorize everything. Know what's low, medium, and high stimulation. Structure your day so the important stuff happens when your dopamine baseline is healthy, not when you're fried. 4. Build a vision. Have something meaningful to move towards. Otherwise, you're just saying no to pleasure without saying yes to purpose. 5. Design your environment. Don't rely on willpower. Make good choices automatic and bad choices difficult. 6. Make it sustainable. Daily practices, weekly resets, an ongoing relationship with your attention, not a one-time fix. Look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend this is easy. We're living in an attention economy where some of the smartest people in the world are literally paid millions to figure out how to hijack your focus. But that's exactly why this matters, isn't it? Your attention is your most valuable resource. Where you put it determines what your life becomes. And right now, most of us are giving it away for free to companies who couldn't care less about our well-being. Dopamine Detox by Thibaut Meurisse isn't just a book about productivity hacks. It's a book about reclaiming your life. And if Oliver, a regular lad from Manchester who was just as addicted as any of us, can do it, so can you. That's going to be it for today's video. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're not subscribed, well, you know what to do. Take care of yourselves, protect your attention, and I'll see you in the next one.